What do people complain about that literally never happens? People pretending to be transgender so they can enter a bathroom and rape people. The worst thing about this is that people honestly think a fucking different sign would thwart a serial rapist. It's one of the most ludicrous, desperate arguments I've seen being brought up by apparently serious people. To top it off, it only perpetuates the stereotype that rapists are creepy strangers. In reality, at least 80% of rape cases involve a perpetrator who knew the victim on a personal level. We teach our kids stranger danger, but we don't teach them that their parents, coaches, teachers, relatives, and friends are much more likely to harm them than strangers. Drugs on Halloween candy. Only documented case was a man that poisoned his and his neighbor's children for the life insurance. My aunt posts about this on Facebook every single year, and every year I comment on the post telling her to send me the address ASAP if people are giving away hundreds thousands of dollars of drugs. You know, to report it. People trying to always sell me drugs as a kid. I mean how everyone says watch out for the guy that goes, "Hey kid, want some drugs?" It happened once to me when I was 15, but I just told the other kid, "No thanks, I don't smoke weed," and he was like, "Alright." My parents warned me for years to watch out for strangers selling drugs to me. Come high school, the ones trying to sell me drugs, usually just weed, were my friends. Vaccines causing autism. Even if this were true, isn't autism better than having a dead child from an easily preventable disease? Autistic guy here. Fucking yeah, it's better. I don't get why people are so scared of the disorder. It's not fucking mental retardation, it's a neurological condition. If they're so affronted by the possibility, why aren't they scared of people who have it and walk amongst them? A cashier giving someone a weird look because of an item they bought or commenting on items they're buying together. Never worked as a cashier, but I'm pretty sure they don't care what you buy and "Hi, how are you? Find everything you were looking for?" is code for hurry and pay for your shit then get out. I was a cashier about 15 years ago, and the only reason I would even register what people were buying is if they went out of their way to try to cover something up. Case in point, had a teenager in my line buying a bunch of snacks then condoms, and as I'm putting everything in a bag and getting the total she giggles and goes, "Lolo, they're not for me, OMG LOL. Funny story, she was back the next month crying and buying a pregnancy test. That one I may have noticed. Guess she was telling the truth about the condoms then. Worked as a cashier before college, and this is true 95% of the time we do not care. However, we had a regular customer who once a month bought all, several hundred cans, the Friskies canned cat food we carried. She smelled very strange as well. The worst of it though was you never wanted to be the one who had to ring up all those cans cause it took like a solid 45 minutes, and God help you if she had coupons this time. Quicksand. Now that I think of it, it feels like every kids show back then had some quicksand scene in it. I've read stories about people, women, yelling at men for holding the door open for them. I don't know if that's never happened, but where I am I'm willing to bet it's never happened. I'm a woman, and I hold doors open for everyone. Most people I know do. It's common courtesy. I'm British, and if someone holds the door open for someone else you can end up in a "no after you I insist" infinite loop. Then eventually both people try to go through the door at the same time and end up apologizing profusely. I had one incident where several people including me, entered a hall. Some guy held the door open and a man who was walking in front of me thanked him kindly. Potter said, "I'm not holding it for you, I'm holding it for her," while pointing at me. I deliberately ignored him for that. Claiming that the POTUS will hijack democracy and stay president when their second term is over. Some claimed that Debia would do this. Similar claims about Obama. If Trump manages a second term, most likely someone will claim the same about him. Dangerous trends that bored and paranoid stay-at-home moms spread around like syringes in ball pits. Maybe it's happened once, but that's not something worth spreading around the internet like as if some international supervillain syndicate is banding together to drop syringes into all of the ball pits around the country. Living in Colorado where people, news agencies, and clueless law enforcement constantly fearmonger over marijuana-laced candies being given out to trick or treaters the entire month of October. No one ever has ever done that ever. Not only are edibles kinda pricey and come in limited, small servings per container, 10 milligrams servings, and there's normally 4 or 5 per container, but no one in the history of edibles has bought 500 of them, spent $1,000 plus, and thought, let's go drug some fucking kids. Edit. If you know of anyone handing out drugs and or drug-laced candies this Halloween, or ever, please let me know and get me an address, thanks. I have a friend that always goes bananas about these things. This year I actually stopped her from talking about it, and explained that no one is giving away free drugs. Drugs are expensive, why would they do that, especially randomly, where there's not guarantee of a return customer? She was like, ugh. I used to work at a computer tech support firm. Held the job full-time for 3 years, back-to-back calls. My confession. Our customers weren't nearly as technically illiterate rude as me and my colleagues made them out to be. Actually, 99% of our customers were kind and just wanted help. I guess exaggerated stories of the call center just made for good smoke break conversation. It's like a rite of passage in the phone support world. We sometimes received a rude customer, but chances were that they had just been worn down from an earlier call with an inexperienced employee. Rarely did we get the entitled prick, and when we did, she was always pretty easily taken care of. I guess you remember the particularly bad ones. That's probably normal. I'm always wondering why the people most afraid of terrorism are the ones who live way out where the buses don't go, and almost certainly don't regularly spend time with people who don't look an awful lot like themselves. My cousin lives way out in the sticks. I mean, they have a use for the phrase, the main dirt road, because they live on a dirt road that is off of another dirt road. It makes the front page of their weekly newspaper when the grocery store has a new manager. Every second or third post on Facebook, by some miracle they have decent internet service, is some macho bullshit about being ready for ISIS. A lot of stuff about Muslims too, even though I'd be a little surprised if any Muslims lived within 20 miles of him, or if he'd ever met one. It's people like this who get manipulated the most. My mom still insists that killer bees are a major concern. Okay, so I watched a documentary on killer bees years ago when I was about 7, and it fucked me up big time. Had night terrors about being chased by killer bees that resulted in my sleepwalking. Well, sleep running through the house and running into furniture. Had these night terrors off and on for a few years until the internet became widespread and I could do my own independent research and figure out that Discovery Channel documentary I watched when I was 7 was less than credible. Slipping on a banana peel. Now I've actually done this. On purpose, mind you, but those bastards are slippery. The war on Christians in the US. No one is persecuting you. Jon Stewart put it best. You have confused a war on religion with not getting everything you want. People getting attacked by bears in Scranton, Pennsylvania. People getting Taco Bell shits. SMH, y'all just got weak stomachs. Taco Bell was my absolute favorite fast food place as a kid and I never had a problem. As an adult I hardly ever go there, maybe like once every couple years. But I still have never gotten sick from it. It's probably from overeating. That'll give you the loose poops from any restaurant food. I hear more people complain about other people saying, "New year, new me," than I've ever heard someone say, "New year, new me." Your gay marriage corrupting my kids and turning them into sexual deviants who are okay with marrying a horse and other terrible, terrible stuff. Office workers exaggerating how many hours they work. Working a 55-hour week once or twice a year doesn't mean you do that every single week. I sit next to all of you every day and watch you put in 40-hour weeks just like me. But we still sit there interviewing job candidates and tell them about how we work hard here, usually 50 to 60 hours. Why are we lying to ourselves about this? It's not a thing to brag about. When I hear people are working that hard, I just feel bad for them. They are either getting paid too little, have a shitty home life, are understaffed, or are bad at their job. All of those are things that deserve pity, not praise. What do people complain about that literally never happens? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.